Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report here on the Piper Academy Network. I am Army Piper, and we finally got some green, guys, but we did get a little pullback this morning on Bitcoin. Was watching that level there when it pulled down. Some of you guys that are just joining us from the Otter Gang over there with Alex O Crypto, you guys got into some longs on this little crazy wick right there, right there, that one. And so congrats to you guys, but this is the level we were talking about yesterday. Jesus, take the wheel. We have broken it a couple of times. Every time we do, candle closes. I mean, I can show you. Look at that. That candle close coming back up and pulling every time we drop below that level. The level I'm actually watching for, guys, going to be right here. That's going to be your 200-day simple moving average coming into the golden pocket. I'm hoping that that is a very strong support range for us. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about some news, some macroeconomic data coming out later this week. NVIDIA earnings today after the market closes. And then lastly, guys, Microstrategies. What is the risk of liquidation in Bitcoin for them? Holding almost 500 million Bitcoin right now, or excuse me, almost 500,000 Bitcoin right now, 500,000. And what is the chance of a liquidation on them? We're going to break that article down for you guys too. Plus, there's an analyst out there calling for $72,000 Bitcoin. So we're going to break it all down right here today on the Morning Market Report. Let's get it, guys. You know what time it is. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Shout out to Alexander G, just dropping a $10 super chat. Actually, it's a super sticker of a hippo character collapses to the ground as his chair breaks. So, wrecked. Wrecked is what it says above him. Absolutely wrecked. Yeah, a lot of people are wrecked in the market right now. That is a fact, Alexander G. It is not a pretty sight. OC is running a little bit behind because we started early, but he'll be in here in a little while. But hey, let's go ahead and give a shout out in the chat before we jump into this Bitcoin chart. Alex O Crypto in the house. What's up, brother? Appreciate you sending the Otter Gang my way. Alexander G's in here. Dumpsy Doo, she says. Yep, TradeFly last night calling the Dumpsy Doo on there, wasn't he? Roaming Braves in here this morning. We got Crypto Coin Mindset. Keith, how you doing, man? Good to see you here. Ninja Glock. Jeffrey Stone Cypher in the house with us. French Toaster said, good morning, alumni. Good morning to you too, man. We got Jesse Gellick in the house. French Toaster is in here with us. Who else we got in here? Who else? Retro Mike Tech, RMT. Controlled Bitcoin emissions are greater than economic factors. This guy always challenging the economy and its effect on the market. Yes, Bitcoin emissions are important, RMT. Economic factors will always trump. Their weighted vote can always collapse a market. I don't care what the emissions are on a miner. +1 AG, there you go. French Toaster giving that plus over there too. Alexandra G. Who else we got in here? Ahsoka Tano. We got Mark in here. Merk, I should say, not Mark. Buck's in here with us. F1. Hey, what's up, F1? How you doing, man? But you know who else we got in here with us right now? Finally showing up to work. He was on a morning siesta evidently and decided I'll get there when I get there. Polychronic Timeline OC guy. What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Not much, just to be honest, waking up.
Your water's underwater. Your microphone is underwater. So let's go take a look at the Bitcoin chart while he fixes his audio, and then we'll go jump in and take a look at what the articles are saying today. Look at this economy stuff, guys. Let's jump over to my chart, and let's take a look at Bitcoin right now on the 4-hour. Guys, we did get this little pump yesterday. We broke down below Jesus take the wheel level, and we got a little pump up here. Came in above the 50% line. You can see that right there. That green line running through there is the 50% fibs. Let's zoom this out a little bit and show you where these levels are coming in at and turn off the support resistance blocks. You can see these are pulled from the low back here when we had a nice little bounce up to the peak there that we had on the 19th of January. So pulling these fibs here, we have been watching this 50% level being a key level that we needed to hold. 382, of course, being the pullback zone. Excuse me, but the level that we're watching here is going to be the golden pocket. If we do not hold this 50%, likely heading down to there, that is a 200-day simple moving average, and that is going to be a pretty important level for us to hold. Going back historically, when it's resistance, it's very hard to get back above. Once we do, we need to hold it. If we don't hold that level in the golden pocket, then watch this 300-day simple moving average, guys, coming in right there on that platinum pocket, and that would be a $75,000 to $71,000 Bitcoin. Is that a possibility? Sure, anything's possible in crypto. We are definitely watching the support zones, though. I do have in these support range boxes here the Bitcoin's last stand, and what this is based off of. Let me bring up the fixed range volume profile here. Nope, not that one. Let's bring that one up. This is going to be your long-term fixed range volume profile. We do have a value area high coming in right here at about $78,000 here. Your point of control is going to be as low as $67,000. But if we look at the local fixed range volume profile, right now, that level that we lost there, that value area low, was our last range of support. That was why we called the well crap. It didn't hold. If we didn't hold in there, Jesus, take the wheel was what we were watching. Let's take a look at the oscillator and see how that is looking for us. Let's turn off those fixed range volume profiles. And let's turn that off. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Let's go take a look at the oscillator, see what kind of story it's telling us right now. We are seeing that the VWAP overbought, or oversold, I should say, and the uptrend, all of the oversold indications off of the Oscillator Pro was telling us, hey, you might be getting a bounce here. And we did. So it's played out, and it's actually giving us a nice little turnaround here on the oscillator. Ribbon has turned blue. Money flow, though, starting to come back down again. Volume is low. Guys, this could easily just flip right back over. Let's check out the higher time frames here and see how that's looking on the daily. Oscillators galore. We are still pushing the histogram down. Signal line getting kind of low, though, guys. If you look historically here, what happens when we get these bottomings here of the signal lines, and what I'm doing is I'm circling right here, that tends to be a good point of a bounce again. So you can see we kind of did a divergence here where the price continued down, and the signal line on the MACD normalized did give us that little divergence, and then from there we went up. But that was all the way back in like July 2024. So, but getting down to that level is a little bullish for me in the near term. I don't know that we're done dumping yet per se, but I do think that we might get a little relief rally to bring us back up, possibly testing the dynamic reactor here on the daily, which is an algorithmic moving average from the Chart Prime Pro Suite. A lot of times we do, when we break it, we get a retest off of it, and then that will be, if we don't break it, that will be the indication that we're heading down to the 200-day on the quantum reactor down here, which is right now on the daily coming in at about $82,000 again. Looking at the Oscillator Pro on the daily, getting really, really oversold. Our power bar here says trend reversal is incoming. True 7 is clipping, but money flow coming down with that volume coming down, guys. Not a good look. RSI Prime, though, if you guys don't know what this is a regular RSI. That chart price free indicator, absolutely free. So is this MACD normalized up here. This is a free indicator. Just type in RSI primed with a D, and or just type in chart prime, look for RSI prime in your indicators, but it turns the RSI line into candles, and because it's in candles, it can then do algorithmic candle pattern identification. So if I put this on candles with patterns, you'll see it has given you like these engulfing candle indications here where, hey, this is a top, and then it went down and then bounced up. So you get these on there. For one, I just do want to point out we do not have an engulfing candle here yet for an upside move, but when you put this on Heikin-Ashi, you can really get a good story of what's going on with price action just by watching it. And you can see we started to get these small candles here. Started to get small candles. That's all lining up with this pattern here before we came down. Here we started to get more. That's going to be this high here. And once they start to get really small, you can see that gave us a nice little uptick from down here at 94,000 all the way up to 98,700. So this is a really good indicator. I'm not seeing a shortening at all right now on these candles, guys, which means this could be heading all the way down into blue colors. this is showing that we do still have more downside coming on the daily. But that's what I got there right now. Just give it a quick 4-hour look and 1 hour daily look here. And we're going to get into some lower time frames today on this Bitcoin chart just to dig in on it. But I really want to take a good, strong look at the altcoins. 113 amazing people in here watching us right now. We appreciate the Otter Gang for rating us. And shout out to everyone that is here. If you haven't done so yet, smash up that like button and welcome to the Piper Academy Network. OC, are you underwater still?
I don't think so. Hopefully I'm not.
You're good. You're good. There you go. We get some fireworks for that one. So how about your investments? Are you underwater there? Because a lot of people are right now. We got an article. We're going to talk about that. But how's your portfolio looking? How are you feeling about the markets today?
I'm not that worried. I mean, most of my investments are on the water, but Bitcoin, since we have been talking about and also actually being also actively inverting on Bitcoin for a long, long time, well, our average price, as we have been talking about, is just way low, right? I think your case might be a little bit different because you did a reset on your whole investment, and I've not
I
that.
sold everything at 102.7 and started to dollar cost average all over again. So I'm a little bit down right now, but like I've been doing. Well, to be fair, I was buying Bitcoin at like $17,000. I shorted the entire bear market last cycle, pulled in a lot of money off of that. Started buying at sub 20K. My average price on Bitcoin was 21,420. Oddly enough, and my average on Ethereum was right around $1,000 per token. So I bought a lot of alts. I bought XRP. I was picking up at like in the 30-cent range, 20-cent range. We had Solana, I was buying that at like $30. So, I got a lot of things that were up. And so I took all my profits at 102.7. And now because of how much profit I had taken, I'm able to turn around and push in $1,000 a week as my set DCA. Keep in mind, I've made a lot of money over the past several years in crypto, and so when I sold everything, it gave me a lot of cash. It's earning yield. My cash is, and so that's still making money. But on top of that, I'm doing a DCA strategy. It's called the Piper Plan. We do it in our Discord. But the DCA amount times the wristband multipliers, and so the lower the risk is based on the price levels of where Bitcoin is at. There's these risk structure, if you will, but based on where those levels are at, it's a multiplier. So as we go down one wristband, it might be DCA times 1, DCA times 2, DCA times 3, so on and so forth. So some weeks it will end up being, last couple of weeks, it's been $2,000 investments on a weekly because it's been at a times 2 multiplier. So yeah, I am a little bit under on mine right now because I started my DCA reset, but I'm sitting on massive amounts of profits from the bear market bottom. And we'll show today how we caught those bottoms on the MVP oscillator. So, but yeah, doing well on the DCA thing. Sometimes it's just the way to go. So.
Nice, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. In my side, I basically have my savings for my retirement. If you don't know this, all of my savings for my retirement are on Bitcoin. So I do have kind of like 3 basic bags: trading, holding, or DCAing, and then my retirement bag. And then Bitcoin or the earnings go from one to another, and then ended up being at Bitcoin. So basically, that is my ultimate goals for now. Basically just holding Bitcoin and making more Bitcoin. So that bag is not on the it's not on the water. My trading bag, it is, absolutely it is. It's just been plummeting down. Oddly enough, a couple of altcoins that I have or I've been trading, they're basically, I'm either out of those but looking to re-entry, or in the green. And one of those examples, it is Litecoin and OM, right? Litecoin is a bit underwater, and OM, it is basically, I just basically close my position and I'm looking for a re-entry. LTC, for example, if we want me, we can go ahead and take a look at it. So, for example, Litecoin, it's basically back at it. So it had a V-shaped recovery, beautiful V-shaped recovery. So basically everything that I already have been buying somewhere around here and somewhere around here, it's just back at profits, right? And the other one that I was talking about was OM. On OM, I'm out, but basically I'm just out of it. And as you can see, we traded here, we traded there. I'm out, and I'm looking to trade it all the way. I mean, again, somewhere around here. Look at that. I've been calling for, wait for that flip of the ribbon, and we are almost right there on support. So that's what I got on the altcoin side. So I mean, we'll see how that plays out, because I do see maybe a big absorption wick at the bottom of the 4-hour candle. If we keep pumping on that candle, I think we might be finding a reversal.
Yeah, I think we will see a little relief rally. You can only have so many days of sell off before the bulls just take over and the bears get exhausted, right? So I do think we're going to have a little relief rally. The big question is will it make will it return to the last high and make a higher high on the local price structure? Because if it doesn't, all it did was a retracement, and it's a normal bearish pattern of price structure where you're making a lower high and then setting up for a lower low. So really the question is going to be, on a relief rally, do we break these previous high levels? And we'll show that price structure today also. I want to make sure we give a good breakdown on that, because I think a lot of people just don't understand price structures enough. So when you're making lower lows, that's not a good sign, right? And then right now we got a poll up. There's a poll going on right now. Where's this poll? Let me go to the poll. We got a poll up. It says, is the bear market, is the bull run over for Bitcoin? 70% say no. But as of right now, we started to show lower low and price structure, right? So would it really be, is it a short-term pullback? Right now, yes, that's the lower low is on the lower time frames, right? To break the confirmation level. I'm going to show that one to you guys in a bit. It's pretty scary how low it has to go to set a lower low on high time frames and confirm a bearish structure, because we had such a massive pump to the upside. We really set no lower lows for quite a while, or set a last low for quite a while. So we'll look at that also. But yeah, let's jump over into the news, OC, and talk about that. And get that out of the way, because we did get some economic data this morning. So let's go do the news. Over to the news. Let's go. All right, guys, taking a look at what we're seeing on the news today. That's our live stream. There we go. Looking here at the total market cap, we're currently at $2.89 trillion. The trend line for the median average of the crypto market cap is sitting at about 3.5 trillion right now, which means currently the total crypto space is 17.48% undervalued. So we're at a negative 17.8% right now on that. Looking at the current risk levels, these are the risk bubbles that I was talking about on the Piper plan, though, guys. And you can see these different colored bubbles. That's the multipliers of how much your DCA multiplier is. So DCA times whatever. But current risk level right now is at 53.8%. Let's reset that. 53.8% risk level, which would based on ours, would be a DCA times 2. When it goes down to 49.4999 and below, then it's at a DCA times 3. And we're just going to keep this thing going and all the way through the bull run into the bear market and back into the next bull run. So we are definitely going to be set up well in the Piper Academy. Let's jump over here and take a look at liquidations in the past 24 hours. In the past 24 hours, 123,323 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $381 million. This is coming on the back of the $1.5 billion liquidations that we had. So a lot of money being picked up there from traders trading in the wrong direction, guys. Largest single liquidation happened with the Bitcoin to USDT swap over on OKX. It was a $3 million liquidation. So, I do want to point out, most of those liquidations, they were long liquidations. People were trying to long way too soon and got liquidated on those. So crypto bubbles, guys, to see what we're looking at here, a little refreshy fresh on the bubbles on the daily here. We can see some big movers. Pi, guys, up 44.1. IP, that's that story token. It is up 45.9. Bera is up 22.7. TIA up 22.1. So we did get a nice run overnight on the altcoins, despite Bitcoin having a mediocre gain. Bitcoin here, guys, came up 1.6%. But let's take a look at the alts. Ethereum bounced back 3.2. XRP bounced back 5.2. BNB back 3%. Solana 2.7, Dogecoin 5.5, Cardano sitting at number 9 at 6.3. It's at 68 cents. Tron up 1.1. Pi Network moved up from number 12 to number 11 today. It's up 44.1%. Chainlink is up 8.4 here on the daily. Litecoin's up 15.8%, moving back 5 positions into number 13. That's a coin we've been talking about here on the channel for quite a while. Sui, my favorite layer 1, is up 10.5% right now, moving back into number 14. So you can see alts in general did really good. But what a lot of people are missing is that when you look here on the weekly and the monthly, guys, Bitcoin's down 8.1% and 13.3% weekly and monthly, right? But a lot of the altcoins are down much more, 12.1, 22%. It looks like BNB is actually the only one that is outperforming Bitcoin here on the weekly and monthly. What is Litecoin at? Let me see that one. Litecoin's beating everything. So, except for Mantra. OM looking strong still, man. But yeah, so even though we did have a more of a pullback on Bitcoin yesterday than the altcoins rallied much harder. We have seen that there's a lot of catch up to do when you look at the weekly or monthly. So, but yeah, shout out to anybody that was doing their DCA yesterday on DCA Tuesday. We know that Buck loves that day, and that's his time to pick up and run. So, looking here at the economic calendar right now, guys, on the economic calendar this morning, we got the 30-year fixed rate mortgage that came in. It's now at 6.88%, seeing a little drop on that there. That is because of that 10-year treasury yield slowing down. Loan rates are not based on the Federal Reserve's rate. It's based on the 10-year treasury yield. If you don't know, now you know. And it has been pulling back. So as people are starting to buy up treasury bonds, it falls when people buy, it pumps when people are selling because they need to entice you to buy bonds, right? When you buy a bond, you're basically buying U.S. debt. That's what you're doing. So new home sales, though, guys, was at 0.73 million back here previously in the last month. Now we're looking at new home sales. The consensus was that it would be 0.68, came in at 0.65. We're seeing a slowdown there on home sales. Look at new home sales month over month. It was at 8.1%. They expected that it was going to be down to 2.6%. Actually came in way lower, negative 10.5% new home sales in January in comparison to the previous month. So we are seeing quite a bit of a slowdown there. Nobody wants to buy homes right now. Is that an indicator of what's coming? Who knows? Thursday, February 27th, guys, we're going to be getting the GDP here. And I do want to point out there was the GDP quarterly for 2024. It's the quarter 4 estimate. Here we go. We're looking at this being 3.1% here tomorrow. Okay, this is what it was previously. They're expecting a consensus and forecast to be 2.3%. This is almost a full 1% drop in the GDP of the United States. And I think this is a lot of the reason that we're seeing this fear in the markets is because March 4th, we're supposed to have tariffs kick off. That was just announced. And then on top of that, the GDP for the last quarter, the final quarter of 2024, expected to be down almost a full percent. A shrinking GDP is a shrinking economy. If you guys do not know, in a shrinking economy equates to shrinking profits for corporations. Shrinking profits for corporation equates to shrinking labor market. And so all of those are worrisome fear factors that the markets do not want to be exposed to. And so that's why we're seeing quite a bit of sell-off across the board. Higher risk items selling off more. So what else do we have over here? We got the stock market here on the U.S. Open. Let's refresh that, make sure we're up to date here. Let's take a look at how the stocks are doing right now on the market open here. Dow Jones is up about 4.47%. S&P is up 0.84%, and the NASDAQ up 1.22%. I think a lot of this is coming off of Microstrategies. Their earnings report is going to be today at market close right there after close, NVIDIA, and a lot of people are buying up NVIDIA right now. OC, if you can pull that chart up, or whoever wants to pull it up, we'll take a look at it here. And I think that's about all I got in there. X marks the spot. Let's go check that. I gotta bring up somebody on stage here. I'm just saying. Breaking news, guys. CEO of Bank of America says they will launch a U.S. dollar stablecoin if U.S. lawmakers pass legislation. Bullish adoption, right? Meaning that we can possibly use our traditional finance system for on-ramping for people that just don't understand exchanges and so on and so forth, for on-ramping into crypto. So good to see that there. And we're going to talk about this one in a little bit. This is tied to crypto. I've showed this chart before to you guys. It is the one that says, hey, when we have pullbacks, if we break the 38.2%, then we have trouble. Currently, that 38.2% pullback will be $80,000 right now. Historically, as long as we have not broke them, we've had continuations up. When we do break that level on the pullback, that has been historically the bear market start. So as of right now, Bitcoin is not officially in the bear market. We have not broken that $80,000 level. That is the level to watch, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and bring up the duo cam and go, OC, you're not alone today. We got the trio cam. TradeFly in the house. What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me up. I know I snuck attack you again, but thanks for getting me
I don't care.
on.
You can sneak attack into the morning market show anytime you want, man.
Yeah, man. It's always good to be here, man. Last night was it was heart-wrenching. You guys don't know crypto Nightcap. We might be I don't know, putting a little delay on that just based on my my work schedule. But shout out to everybody in the chat. I see the old regulars. Been a long time no see, so I know everyone was sad last night, but I'm still here. So super excited to talk some TA with you guys today.
Awesome. What are you seeing on your chart right now? We're just going to hand it right over to you. I do have a couple of articles I want to talk about in a bit, and we'll get your input on those. But let's jump over and check out your chart and just see, what you're watching right now. Because I saw you drop some posts in our Discord for our members earlier saying watch these levels. So let's go ahead and give that to our viewers right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys haven't done so yet, smash up that like. TradeFly, take it away. It's all you, bro.
Right on. Yeah. So let's look at the chart first. And then we're gonna clean that up a little bit with some more data. So one of the things that I was looking at, and this is what I dropped in the trading group this morning, was this level right here, 85K. So let's zoom out just a little bit because I wasn't gonna jump right into it, but give the people what they asked for. All right, so 85K, right? That is the bottom of the range. Two things I want you to take note of. One, it's the bottom of the range. Last time we've done this though, we were in the range. What do? We came back down and retested this area right here, right? This was a big hit for Piper. This was a big hit for me. There was a couple things driving this, okay? One, you had this range right here. So it came back down, retested. The other thing is there was a lot of liquidity sitting here at about 50K. So we had our eyes on this for months. What happened again? Well, now we're coming back down. You see this little range right here before we actually moved into the overall range. We're coming back down and we're retesting the bottom of that. What happened again? There was liquidity at 87,000. All right, a lot of liquidity sitting at 87,000. You had technicals that lined up. You had the 382 from the macro. All right, the fib retracement. You also had the quarterly pivot. But now, right, we had the bottom of the range here. So it's really playing out a lot like the previous iteration of us being in a range. All right, so I want you to take note of that. Also, too, the 382. Technically speaking, if you're looking at this from a macro perspective, and when I say that, the bottom of the last range, okay? So the bottom of the last range to the all-time high, that brings you right here, 382. Technical perspective, 382, when you're in a bullish trend, that's perfectly fine for a correction to come to the 382. Now, where would the 0.5 be? Well, the 0.5 would be down at 80K. That is also your yearly pivot, all right? So this range right here between 85K and I'd say about 81, right? That's about the first place where we can actually find something technical to look at, is a no trade zone for me. I would not trade in this zone. And that's just personal. All right. There's nothing technical for us to hang our hats on. There's no volume, there's no rejection, there's no support, there's no nothing. All right. So be very, very careful. Now, the other thing that I was looking at this morning, right? Because somebody asked, "Hey, should I short it down?" And I think they were joking. But I was like, no, because this could be a liquidity grab. And how did I kind of get ahead of that? And how was I like, well, this could be a liquidity grab? Like, one, look where support was, look where volume came in, look where this price action started to work its way up. What happens? Liquidity comes in here. You can do this without looking at the liquidity heat map, but look what's happened. Look what happens when you do look at the liquidity heat map. Look at that hot spot. All right, that is dying to be taken. I talked about that last night. I was like, hey, it's price action is coming up. What I say, you see this hotspot coming in, you see all this liquidity rushing in. People are taking leveraged long positions. People are putting their stop losses right here underneath the stop because why? They're trying to catch the bottom. And that is the issue over and over again. People are always trying to catch the bottom, right? You're trying to catch a fallen knife essentially. And these people always get wrecked because there's always that one last wick that comes down and takes that liquidity. So I'm not saying it is the last wick, but it'll be something, right? Look where the other hotspot is. It will be something in the matter of 24 hours. You see this liquidity get taken and this liquidity get taken as well. So keep an eye out on that. Again, I'm not going to be projecting where I think this price action is going to go. But I do think that price action does have a, small penchant for following liquidity. Okay. So again, you're just looking and where does that take you? This is amazing, right? So you're looking at it and okay, so from right here, right? Top to bottom. Well, actually it was here, sorry. So now it has changed a little bit. That actually brings us down a little bit. But this was the golden pocket. So this is actually going to move down now. It is going to now line up with your dynamic reactor, a horizontal level, and liquidity. I mean, there's too much there. There's too much there. So what I'm scared of right now is that we're basically going to consolidate in this range. I don't say that I'm scared, but what I'm kind of anticipating is consolidation in this range, and it's just taking the liquidity. And once we get all this liquidity, taken, right? The maker's happy, people get shook out because they've lost their ass on both sides of the coin. Then we can start making a move and figure out which way we're going. So I would really look for Bitcoin to, have some kind of OC retest, right? We know we love that term. OC retest here or OC retest here. And that's really what I'm waiting for. Everything in this is just a mess. So be very, very careful in here. Again, down here, no trade. Do not trade in this zone. Okay. That's what I'm looking at right now for Bitcoin.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff too. And I think those heat levels are going to be key to watch because when that liquidity is sitting there and if you guys don't pull up the heat map, you can still see it. It's going to be where you have those a lot of wicks, right? A lot of wicking going on in a range over and over and over. That's going to be where that liquidity is at, and so you're gonna be able to grab some decent shorts on those and longs on the bottom side of those also. So and that's what happened this morning. A lot of people in Alex's show went long on that bottom pullback wick of Bitcoin, and I do believe a lot of them were just like, if we jump down here and grab liquidity here, maybe I'll set a long, set me a nice stop loss on it, and then let it ride. And a lot of people caught that long this morning on there. So shout out to the OGs, the Outer Gang.
Yeah,
OC.
so that's a big trading thing. Just so you guys know, what
Yeah.
Piper just talked about is that you let the wick come down, clear out the liquidity. As soon as it reestablishes in the range with a bullish candle, bam, entry. And that is like the tried and true method that many day traders use. You can watch it over and over again. So, understand that is definitely a trading entry, we'll say, for scalpers.
For sure. Definitely is. OC, what do you like when you see this price structure? I know you don't use the heat map, but when you see this price structure like we're seeing, what are you looking for your trade entry? Like what exactly will you need for confirmation? Let's jump over to your chart and take a look at that. And then I want to come back and talk about this article about Bitcoin headed for $72,000. These metrics could hint so. Let's go see what those metrics are, but let's jump and take a look at your chart first.
Absolutely. So as you may remember, guys, I love Wyckoff, and also I'm looking for classical patterns, double tops, double bottoms, break off, sweep of the lows, break off of trend line, so on and so forth. So exactly what I'm looking at. In fact, I was actually playing out with it. It was a bottoming pattern here. Remember that we were giving it 3 days, 3 to 4 days, starting yesterday. So today is day number 2. for it to reverse back where we were at the previous highs, right? So how do I enter here? Well, let's remember first that we are on daily. We're almost there with a flip of the ribbon right here. Let me just change it. There we go. Almost there with a flip of the ribbon. We already have a couple of overbought areas, and also we are pretty bright on our power bar here. If we take a look at the 4 hours, there we go. The first thing that I'll be looking for, it is going to be a very big wick at the bottom candle. That will basically indicate me that there are much more buying pressure than selling pressure. And let me show you what happens when we have one of those candles. Look at that. Usually we have a pullback. I'm not considering a full change of trend, but at least a pullback is signified on those kind of big wicks below, right? What I would not like to see, it is a dodgy candle, right? I mean, I can still have a dodgy candle be playing out on the daily, and that is because we also have a little bit of a wick up. But I mean, in that case, I will be just waiting a little bit more to start playing with it. Then what else do I want to see? Retest, and then off I go. At this point, since the trend line is very steep, well, the retest will be, as we imagine, maybe a double bottom. And how do I get confirmation out of this candle? Well, then maybe I need to see, or I was talking about with, I believe, Alex of Crypto before yesterday my internet cut. It was a three, something like a three wide soldiers, and of course seeing the oscillator breaking through the zero line. I know I might be a little bit messy here. There we go. The oscillator breaking through the zero line. So far we're doing great. We have, or almost we have, those kind of candles here. Right now we're building that candle. Next up, I want to see the oscillator turning green, which is now turning green. And then the next step will be both going through the zero line and also seeing those three white soldiers. For me, the next candle, when I see the first white soldier, if I'm already breaking above resistance, and by the way, this is the very similar trend line that TradeFly has, right, from the previous high. There we go. Let me show it to you. It's a little bit odd here. And then just to shrink this, there we go. From previous highs on the previous cycle, if we're able to break above it, I think we're gonna be on the green zone, and most likely, and again, most likely, not for sure, right? Most likely, we're gonna find support back into it, because it's gonna be something like breakout retest, and then off we go. So just for a recap, I want to see price structure, candle structure, and then break of trend lines along the flip of the ribbon. That basically defines my entries on trading.
Awesome. Let's jump into this article. I want to talk about this, about Bitcoin headed for $72,000. We'll come back, talk about what you guys see in your charts. Do you agree or disagree? And then let's get into some altcoin hunting here. I know TradeFly probably loading up right now as the engineer on the Soul train. So let's go check out this article. We'll be right back with some altcoin TA. There you go. There it is. Bitcoin headed for $72,000. These metrics could hit. So this article coming out about 3 hours ago on News BTC. So let's go take a look at what they're saying here. Bitcoin has seen a crash to the $87,000 level in the past day, but if on-chain data is a go by, the plunge could get much deeper. Bitcoin has lost an important support level with this crash. In a new post on X, the on-chain analytic firm Glassnode has discussed about how some Bitcoin indicators have changed following the plunge in the cryptocurrency's price. The first metric that the analytic firm shared is the realized price of short-term holders. And this is what I was talking about earlier with a lot of people are underwater right now because of where they bought at. This is the realized price, keeps track of the cost basis of the average investor or address on the Bitcoin network. When the spot price of an asset is trading above that indicator, it means that the investor as a whole can be considered in a state of profit. On the other hand, it being under the metric implies that dominance of the loss in the market. So basically, it's the average price that everyone has bought at. When we're beneath that, it means that you are underwater, right? In context of the current topic, the realized price is only a segment of the user base is of interest. The short-term holders, people that have bought recently, not people that bought the bottom. who referred to the investors who purchased their coins within the past 155 days. That is considered a short-term holder. Here's the chart that shows the trend in the Bitcoin short-term holder realized price over the last few months. And if we take a look at this and bring this into focus here, you can see this trend line here is your average median. That's your MVRV. Right now, price is beneath that, which shows that we have a large percentage of short-term holders that are in the negative right now. So as displayed in the graph above, Bitcoin was trading above the short-term holder realized price during the last few months, meaning that short-term holders were in profit. But with the latest crash, the situation has flipped. Short-term holder realized price is equal to 92,500. So anything under that line, if you have bought above that level, you are now in the negative. So at the current price spot, the members of this cohort would be carrying an average loss of about 6%. A failure to reclaim the short-term holders' cost basis could mean continued selling pressure from recent buyers, meaning that it will add to the sell-off that's already occurring. So as for how far Bitcoin could fall from here, perhaps historical patterns could hold a hint. According to the analytics firm, the post all-time high correction of May 2021, November 2021, and April 2024 all saw Bitcoin fall one standard deviation beneath that realized price. And so at the present, the price band is situated between $71,000 to $72,000. If the past pattern is to go by, it is possible that this correction may also lead Bitcoin near this band. So that's how they're getting into that call for $71,000 to $72,000. When I look over at the chart real fast, I'll come back here and then we'll come back and talk about it. When I'm looking at the price band here of that $71,000, $72,000, guys, that's going to be right down here in our platinum pocket, which would set us well beneath the 200-day simple moving average and the 300-day simple moving average, and would also be now our resistance. So getting down that far, it comes with a whole nother basket of issues that we would need to keep an eye on. And just to pull up those support bands for you guys again, being beneath Bitcoin's last stand, I've already said that if we lose this level and it continues down, why we would be in that problem set is because once we lose that level, everything else down here starts to create new liquidity zones that people will likely try to shoot for. And that could send us even lower on top of the sell-off of, liquidation. Sell-off just compounds like an avalanche down the mountainside. You've got people that go, I've already lost this much money. I don't want to lose anymore. And so you get that trickle effect of sell-off that happens. I just want to make everyone aware of that. That MVRV short-term holders definitely showing that there could be a trickle effect just from that itself before we even get to those levels. TradeFly, your thoughts on that level of $72,000, $71,000 there on the MVRV for a target? That would be beneath the 200-day simple moving average. And that's not a good place to be. If we lost the 300-day simple moving average, I would say that pretty much confirms that we have entered into the bear market space. And that would be on the higher time frame, that lower low that we were talking about, that would give a higher time frame confirmation of lower low settings. So your thoughts on all of that, man?
Yeah. So go ahead and bring up my chart real quick. And I challenge people to zoom out. All right. So zoom out and look at this price action. You're just coming down to the golden pocket. All right, so if you zoom out and you really look at this from kind of a macro perspective, we'll say from bear market lows, that move down to 71,001 makes a lot of technical sense. All right, now, am I saying price is going to go down there? Nope, not saying that. But does it make sense? Yes. All right, you're coming down to a zone. One, look at the resistance here. All right, so we had the previous range that was for 253 days, a long, long time. All right. We never came back down to actually retest that area. We have not flipped what was resistance into support officially. So for it to come down to the golden pocket, and from a zoomed out perspective, you are just setting a higher low, right? So a higher low or lower, or correction, higher low. Yeah, higher low. So you're just setting a higher low, and you can see price action would continue keeping a bullish structure. Now, if we lose this zone, we reestablish this area, then we flip. Then we really have to flip. Okay. So, but that being said, if it comes down there from a technical perspective, is okay. and I like, it sucks to say that, right? Because altcoins have just been crushed already, but it seems like though the altcoins have kind of experienced a lot of pain on its way down, it may just be one for one as they continue to move down to this area at this point. Now that's a bold statement. All right. That's a hot take. But I don't know that they would exponentially get crushed like they've been getting crushed, because you can see right now they've been holding up. Even with Bitcoin dominance going up, it's been a very weird trend. I think the memes are just getting slayed while some of the major alts like, we'll call it Cardano, Ethereum, and stuff like that, they're holding up a little bit better now. It seems to be more of a parallel, more so than an exponential. But that being said, yeah, I think this area does make sense. It would basically fill this gap and retest an area that I think is pretty important. It's just we've had
Yeah.
such an epic move up based on news and really Trump getting in office. I think there's a few things that really pushed the price up early. And so again, I don't know that we'll come down and revisit it, but it does make sense.
Yeah, something that I do want to point out on your chart you're showing there, that area where you see that big drop, if you actually pull a fixed range volume profile to include that lower set range there, you'll see that there's no volume in that area. It's called a low volume gap. And if we lose where we are currently at, there's no reason for liquidity hunters to go into that area unless they are heading to grab liquidity in that lower range. So if anyone's looking at this chart right now, where you see that big straight up line of price action from the previous range beneath the green box. Yep, that area right there. There is no volume there at all. So if price action goes down into there, that means the market makers are heading for that lower range. And you guys need to be aware of that because there's no reason to go into a low volume gap area as a market maker unless you're heading for lower targets. And so holding the area that we're in right now going to be key for us to head back up to the $100,000 range. Absolutely, man.
Absolutely.
Got it on your chart? You good there?
Yeah. I just wanted to kind of double down on what you were saying and actually see it, right? It's one thing to verbalize. It's another thing to see. I'm a Marine, dude. I got to see pictures. You know how that is.
Yeah, our current level right now to hold. The only reason to head down below where we are right now, honestly, would be to close the CME gap. CME gap sitting at $77,000. You lose that. You go down to that level, you're beneath the 200-day simple moving average. So danger, Will Robinson, as OC I would say. OC, what are your thoughts on that $72,000 target? Can we go down to that level and it not be foreshadowing of more bearish dips coming, dump coming, I should say. Not a dip, it's a dump at that point. Or are you seeing signs that we had someone in the chat a little while ago said $100,000 within 2 weeks. What do you think? Which way are we heading? What is your take, Mr. $500,000 Bitcoin guy?
Well, let's get started with it. I need to shield my prediction, right? Well, not shield it, but I mean, it's going to be almost the same thing here. Why? Because we're in a very important support. There is just either up or down, other than to the right. Okay, so I mean, we are in previous monthly low. We are on a very low area for support, and usually on this predictive range purple line, we tend to see very big reaction areas. So as you can see right here, I have the two areas, two possibilities at this point, right? I'm thinking that we're going to be doing this, all right? But that is just a speculation. Why? Because based on the speculation, we cannot trade, right? Yes, speculation is a big part of trading, but we also need to take a look at market structure, what we've been talking about. So far, until I don't see the oscillator just starting to break through the zero line or breaking a trend line and finding some support above this other trend line here, I'm not going to be turning back bullish, but neither bearish. I want to start losing the 85 area here. And also you will see that I have an 82 alert right here. Let me show it to you, 82,300. Why? Because if we reach that area based on my calculations, we're going to be overextending to the very bottom of this zone. So basically just so far enough that I don't think that we're going to be able to come back out from it, right? So if we get here, I think that we're going to be bouncing from this area and then a continuation downwards. Thus, we have this possibility here. So let me be clear, maybe 72, very possible. Also probable, but I don't think it's going to be the leading I don't know prediction for me. I want to see Bitcoin going up, and not only because I wanted to, but it will also make sense to have the spring all the way back down here and then start closing above if the bull market keeps playing out the way that we're used to. So far, I'm still just in the limbo on the day, on the daily, on the 4 hours, just waiting to see where am I going to be jumping in. I have not yet traded Bitcoin so far, although I did bought Bitcoin for my holding backs yesterday. So that might also give you a little bit of a hint on what I'm expecting. So also remember on this little pumping here, as you mentioned, somebody was calling, what was it, 700,000 Bitcoin or something like that. And then the next week they were calling 300,000 Bitcoin. So look at how we're just so volatile in sentiment. I think that we need to stay grounded, the feet on the ground, to see and to be able to catch whatever movement is coming upwards. Or sorry, it's coming
Absolutely.
forward.
Yep, absolutely. I agree. I think that at the end of the day, like I told everybody, I'm still dollar cost averaging every week. My faith in Bitcoin is long term, not short term. But I, took my profits because I was way in profit, and I want to have that money in case we do go down to those lower levels to buy. Especially if we're hitting $70,000 levels and I sold at $100,000, I can get almost 50% more Bitcoin at that point. So yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Crypto Archie joining us in the chat. What's up, dude? Man, if you guys don't follow Crypto Archie, you need to. That guy is crushing it with his calls on the gem hunting side, looking for those solid projects that have low market cap. And so he's in the chat. I just want to give him a shout out, dude. You've been rocking it, man. Shakalaka. That boom shakalaka goes out to you, Crypto Archie. Let's go talk about some other things that are coming that could mean some downside. Well, I would not be surprised to see a rally today. The S&P has now broke 6,000 again, 6,000 points again today after having a whole sell-off week. But I think a lot of that is on the back of just exhaustion of the bears, right? You can only sell off so much before the bulls are able to wrestle back, but it's how far can those bulls run the price back up before the next event happens. And so one of the things that I'm seeing happen right now is we do have Thursday and Friday economic data. So let's go talk about that real fast. Looking here tomorrow, guys, we're going to get those durable goods. I already talked about this, that we're seeing almost a full 1% contraction here. Keep in mind, if there's a headline, it's already cooked into the price. That's just how it goes, right? So right now, 2.3% is the forecast on this versus the 3.1 showing a contracting economy, but that very likely could be the lack of growth that we've seen on the stocks with the pullbacks, right? So if this comes in beneath 2.3 tomorrow, I could see that any rally we get today could be erased tomorrow. Keep that in mind. But Friday, guys, we'll get into core PCE, and this is the largest single indicator that the Federal Reserve looks at when they're talking about inflation rates. And looking at here on the core PCE price index, which means things are going up in price, that's inflation. It's expected to be anywhere from 0.1 to 0.2% higher, meaning a rising inflation rate, which makes it harder for the Federal Reserve to cut rates. Remember, yes, while employment is getting wrecked, the Federal Reserve has to keep that in mind, which means that if it's starting to get hurt, they should cut rates. But if inflation is rising, that means that you have that threat of, prices going higher on things, and that means that the Federal Reserve would have to not cut rates or possibly even raise rates. So if given the two choices between saving the labor market or fighting inflation, the Federal Reserve is going to pick inflation every time. Because it's easier to fix the employment market than it is to fix the inflation fight. So they have to pick the easiest of the two battles. And so very likely we'll see a rate pause, possibly even talks of hawkish talks from Federal Reserve on their next FOMC, which is going to be in March, when they start talking about, hey, it's not off the table for the year, right? And so those things can all be market impacts for price action. And so if we do get a pump today, and then tomorrow we start to see this data come in below this 2.3%, we very easily could see an erase of all of today's gains. So I want to keep you guys in mind of that. the macro side always has a weighted vote. So, and if we don't get that price action to come up to those higher levels, then very possibly could be getting into, hey, look, now our previous support is now our resistance, and down we go again, right? So, one thing that did come out, and this came out last night on BTC Letter, it was the FUD report on the crypto Nightcap with TradeFly last night, but there's an article here now talking about it, and this is one of the pieces of FUD that's going around that a lot of people are talking about on X. Let's fix that here. Let me there, allow it for one day. There you go. Black screen. Thank you, OC. Strategy, Microstrategies is what it used to be called. It's now called Strategy. Crashes 55%. Is a $44 billion Bitcoin liquidation possible? Guys, this is the definition of FUD. Okay, because if they got called on $44 billion worth of Bitcoin, it would absolutely crush the market. But according to BTC Letter in this article, their calls are all backed right now by their contracts. So if you look here, where is it at? $44 billion worth of Bitcoin. Could they be forced to sell it? Is it even possible? So according to BTC Letter, MicroStrategy's holdings total approximately 499,000, just under 500,000 Bitcoin, currently worth $43.7 billion, but they're under convertible contracts. So the first time liquidation is mentioned, MicroStrategy has been buying Bitcoin for years, and there have been multiple bear markets since then. These the backing that they use to buy their Bitcoin is with debt from convertible notes. And so that's how they get their Bitcoin. Those calls on those convertible notes, they mature around 2028. Their earliest ones are like 2027 in here. Let me find it here. So a fundamental change could include corporate bankruptcy. They would have to be something like corporate bankruptcy, a vote by the shareholders to dissolve the company, worst case scenarios, right? That's what would have to happen for them to get called on those. So despite the steep share price decline, an outright forced liquidation, highly unlikely. The structure of the convertible notes and MicroStrategy's ability to raise capital give the firm significant flexibility. Even so, if Bitcoin were to experience a protracted and severe drop that took us past 2027, then we could see that call happen. So, guys, let me know in the chat. Me personally, I don't think that we see Bitcoin under its price, his average price of the convertible notes before 2020 and all the way through 2027. I just don't see it. So yes, the thumbnail absolutely is something that people are talking about. But when you dig into how they bought their Bitcoin and when the maturity date is on the convertible notes, you would have to have Bitcoin beneath the average price of his purchase by 2027 still. And I just don't see that happening. OC, we'll go with you first on this. What's your thoughts? Do you think that Bitcoin's beneath his average price? And I'll look for it here and see what the average price is. I don't remember if it's in this article or not, but do you see it beneath the average price of what he's bought his Bitcoin for in 2027, dude? I mean, seriously. His cost basis is $66,000. $66,350 is what Bitcoin would have to be underneath in 2027 in order for that threat to happen. What's your thoughts?
Okay, 2027. Remember that we were talking about in the predictions, price prediction for the next year or for an extended cycle, we're all the way up to $500,000, right? I'm not saying that we're for sure going to get there, but we just need to start looking for exponential growth in here. I don't think that that's going to be the case. Why? Because even in the most conservative predictions, other than if Bitcoin kind of like crashes or becomes currency, which I don't think is mature enough for being that. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it below that price point in 2027. So yeah, I mean, we are already back at, what is it, 87, and we're talking about getting back at 108, right? So I hardly see this unless. And there's one breaking point unless we fell below this trend line and we stay below the trend line. So basically, yes, could be if we have a short bull run and then we're going backwards to create the new cycle low on this upcoming year.
I would say for 2027, because that's when those expire, and we're talking 2026 is the typical bear market bottom, right? I would say by 2027, in order for it to be under that price level, we would have to have the bull run is over now and it all heads down. We go into the bear market early and it's an extended bear market. We would be talking about a 2-year cycle of bear market. And I just don't see that happening for any market. For that to happen, we would be in a massive depression type threat of a recession in the United States. And I think that we would see a turnaround way before 2027 on that. So yeah, that you're talking extremes, extremely cut short bull run, extremely long bear market. So yeah. TradeFly, your thoughts?
I got one thing to say.
What do you say? It's the FUD alert, bro. It's the FUD alert.
The FUD alert. You know it, man. I mean, just think about it. And this is one of the things, when you take a step back, where do you see Bitcoin in 2027 or 2028? Like, where do you see
over $100,000 easily? Well over. Yeah, but people are stuck on this because they're thinking of him holding his Bitcoin and that he's lent out his Bitcoin. And so when, to buy more Bitcoin, but he's not, he's selling convertible notes on Strategy, the MSTR stock, for him to get money to buy more Bitcoin. And those have maturity dates on them. So it's not the same as, you holding your Bitcoin and taking a loan out against your Bitcoin in order to buy more Bitcoin. And then the call comes in and they go, you don't have enough Bitcoin to cover this and you don't have any more money. He's got the ability to raise more money through MicroStrategy. He's already talked about raising the number of shares to like $10 billion or something like that. And then 10 billion shares, and then on top of that, the maturity date. I just think it's a massive, massive FUD. So,
and he's continuing to do it, and that's the other thing I talked about last night too. It's a perpetual cycle. So as some of them come due, he still has more that will be extended out to later dates.
Absolutely.
So like it's not going to all hit at once. Yeah. So it's quite smart, and it's kind of funny when you look at his new name when it says Strategy B, right?
B.
There's a Bitcoin logo
Strategy
right
B
underneath
instead
of
of
it. So his
instead of like a trademark or copyright or registered. No, it's B.
Yeah, Strategy B. A didn't work. F that. We're going to B. But
That's
that
right.
B is Bitcoin, and it is playing out pretty well for him so far.
So what do you got for Solana, man? Let's talk about some of these altcoins real fast before we go. We might run a little bit over. OC, if you got a bounce, TradeFly and I got this. We'll continue this flight on. I got a good pilot here with me, so we're good. TradeFly, what do you got for some altcoins, man?
Put it on my back, baby. All right, so Solana, I do have XRP up, but let's look at Solana real quick. I can actually keep this very, very quick. All right. So Solana, you are in the middle of the platinum pocket right now. I took the fib retracement off. It's just too much noise going on in there. You can see my levels. Look at these levels though, like how relatively evenly spaced they are with each kind of leg down. We are now in the platinum pocket. That's why you're seeing a little bit of reaction there. You also come back left on the chart. What you see a lot of resistance and support right off of this region right here at 138. Okay. So I wouldn't be against layering in right now to Solana. I did personally. So let me be fully transparent with you. I did drop a little bit of capital, and I anticipate they're into Solana. All right, I'm not mad about getting Solana at 138, knowing that it has potential to go back over 200. We've been here before with Solana, where it's down at $8 because of all the FUD, and look where it went. So 138, not a bad spot to look at. 121, primo. Why? Because before we made this run, look, this was the line in the sand. There was no doubt about it for Solana. 121, you can see this was our call right here, my little airplane, and then up and away it went. But that is an area I would keep an eye on in the near term for Solana. If it comes down here, again, I'm going to continue to lather into these positions on Solana as it works down and essentially just lower my basis, right? So near term, where can it go? All you got to do is look at the price action. I'll tell you what, Solana, in terms of looking at price action and identifying support and resistance, man, it's just so easy and so clear with Solana. I love it. You can see right here, very easily identifiable support, very easily identifiable resistance. And then what do? We come up, we get the OC retest, and off and away we go, which lets me know 163 is going to be an important area for price action. So if it works up, I would expect some resistance here initially. Look at how many times we came up and tried to retest that area and ultimately staying in the range. So 163, big area to look at. 121, your other big area to look at, and where we're at right now. Not a bad, opportunity, we'll say, to at least see a little bit of price action in the near term. So, obviously it can go either way, but those are my two big areas in terms of being in this range. All right, I'll pass it to OC, man. I'll let him get us one on the way out here.
OC has left the building. He had to go to work. He had to go to work, man. Chart Prime. He's got his lot of jobs over there, so he had to bounce on us. But right, I just wanted to get that Solana in there real fast for you guys, and we're going to be dropping some more charts here today. We've got Chart Hacker session this afternoon, so some more trade setups coming into the Discord today because we usually drop all of those over to you guys. But TradeFly, I appreciate you dropping in here with me today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It is always a pleasure coming back home to the morning show. It's where it all started for me. And I love seeing everyone in chat. Obviously, most of the same people that are in the Nightcap. So it's great seeing you guys here too. It makes me feel a little bit better because, it hurt a little bit last night. So
there we'll put Mexican spaghetti over
there. My dude.
Mexican spaghetti right there in his spot. There we go. Yeah. So, hey, TradeFly, you are always welcome to join the morning show. This is where your start was at. Everyone's joking around and stuff about that I did this purposely. I purposely used my contacts to get your contract changed so that you're working a different shift just so that I could get you back on my morning show because I couldn't have competition on the Nightcap. But no, you know that I love that show and I love everything that you've done with it. But you are always welcome to join the morning show anytime that you are available, man. So.
Well, I guess we have now taken the show. We are now show AB. All right. So we are.
That's right.
One AB.
That's right. That's it. All right, guys, we're about to head out of here. We appreciate all of you joining us here on the Piper Academy Network this morning for the Morning Market Report. TradeFly, thank you for joining us. Everybody over there from the Otter Gang, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure to host the Otter Gang here at the Academy, and we will be back here tomorrow morning doing this all over again at 10 a.m. For the 30 minutes after the market open for the Morning Market Report to get down these economics, take a look at what happened with the economic data that's coming out tomorrow. GDP, be very careful. Any pumps we get today could be easily rewound tomorrow morning with that data. We've got the Trade Academy coming on at 4 p.m. today with Trade Intuition. No Nightcap tonight. I'm sorry. Much love to you guys. And then Markets After Dark. Hopefully Lunar Beaches will be able to do that. Shout out to Lunar Beaches. I know he's going through some hard times right now with his family. His grandmother was in the hospital. We gave prayers out yesterday for her, but he said it looks like she's doing a lot better. So tomorrow morning, kicking it all off again. Good Morning Crypto with BC Port Corp, and then we'll be here to give you guys everything you need to have knowledge because knowledge is profit. TradeFly, anything on the way out for the people, man?
No, I mean, as usual, it's great mixing up with you and seeing you guys in the chat. We love you guys. Obviously, you are the reason we do this. I hope everyone has a great day. And of course, trade safe, be safe, and I'm out.
Out. Later, guys. Trade safe. Use a stop loss. Something. Use some risk management, for God's sake. Later, guys. We'll catch you later.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper.
TradeFly's in the house. Put that on the live stream. TradeFly in the house. We're going to start that. It's going to be a thing. Later, guys.
Even when we're dead and gone, we'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. TradeFly, get the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti, yo. Crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean.
We're heading to Dano Crypto, guys. Drop those graduation caps. Later.
That was awesome, dude.